because I've seen that side. And I love people when I say the soft and the personal side. That's something that I wanted to come through over these 2 days. And so for Kim to share and be so vulnerable, Ken is so awesome, and Gary is so awesome. And to see the friendship they've had. Gary, only a few years, but Ken for 3 decades. I love the story, by the way, Kim told of they were driving an old beat-up Honda, and Ken would let her use his car when she first got in the industry. She talked about having that first Mercedes, and then some challenges. And Ken, I remember telling the story one time where Ken said, "Here's my car keys," and she'd go, "You guys think she didn't just sponsor 30 people in 30 days? She was in the coffee shop and sit down in one-on-ones, as she shared yesterday." So it's got to be amazing for Ken to sit there and see where she started 31 years ago and today. I always laugh, Michael Jordan, everybody quotes Michael Jordan, but nobody saw the work he put in before anybody knew he was Michael Jordan, right? Nobody's seen the work that Kim has put in. So would you please give Kim a big hand? Switch gears for a few, get personal as well. I'm gonna dig in and ask these guys some questions. It's so critical. Kim has her board of directors: Samson, Harris, Chloe, and Hepping. We've got so many amazing leaders here in the United States. Kim's got her board of directors. When she's building this massive organization, what does that look like? And I've got my I talked yesterday about creating a distributor advisory board. I'm very passionate about that. People that are out working and building and doing amazing things. And then we've got the scientific advisory board the doctors we have are so talented, do such an amazing job. And that's led by, Dr. Tim Schneider, chairman of the board. And he works in collaboration with Dr. Gubler. Gubler does an amazing job with our SAB. They're world class. But part of building an amazing corporate team is having the right people. We've got Dr. Dan, we've got Tyson the last couple of months. I almost said Dr. Tyson, by the way. We've got Dr. Dan, Dr. Markle, Dr. Tyson. By the way, if anybody else comes up and asks me if Dr. Markle's a doctor, he's not a doctor. We gave him that nickname. Or what kind of doctor are you? He's a proctologist. He's our resident proctologist, ladies and gentlemen. So, with that said, director does an amazing job. But what I want to do is just switch gears for a minute. And I'm going to ask Tyson and Dr. Dan a couple personal questions. I want you to see the other side of it. Who are they? And I want you guys to ask a few questions. Keep it appropriate. Keep it appropriate. Don't ask Dr. Dan some crazy nutty thing that's going to embarrass him on video. With that said, I'm going to go around. I'm going to ask one question each, and then I'm going to turn it over to you guys so you can ask some personal stuff about who they are. None of this is prepared. I'm just going to come up with something that comes from my heart. I'm going to start with Dr. Dan. I have a tremendous amount of respect for him. He's an amazing husband, an amazing father, and he, as I've said so many times, lives, eats, and breathes science. And you heard me share yesterday, his goal is to put these products in millions of hands. But I'm going to actually switch gears. And I want Dr. Dan to expand his thinking for just a minute. And I'm going to ask him this one question. That is, Dr. Dan, for you, what is your overall driver? You're passionate about science. You obviously love your family. That's the obvious stuff. But what causes you day in and day out? There's got to be something out there, because I've watched you. I come in the office early in the morning, and you've got the nerdiest books out that you're reading. And you've got seriously, and he's reading about this molecule, this science, stuff that if most people in here read, after about 30 seconds, you'd be on your desk going, and he loves it. So my question to you is not just why do you love science? We know that. My question is more, what drives you? Every day, why jump out of bed? Why get so excited? Why have such a positive attitude? What's behind that is driven? What drives you daily?
I mean, we all like reading about beautiful molecules, right? I was reading about this plant the other day. talk about that in the future. I've talked about my grandfather before, and every morning I wake up, I spend about an hour doing meditation and preparing for the day, and I have a picture of my grandfather on my desk. And he's one of my drivers. He's my hero, scientific legacy. And I feel, when I say that science is in my DNA, I really feel that. I really feel it coursing through my body. And I really feel, and it's not a prideful thing or whatever, I just really feel like I have something to offer the world. For whatever reason, I have this weird, crazy brain that likes molecules and thinks about things. And I just feel like I have a responsibility to give it as much as I can to the world. Lay it all out on the floor. To hopefully, and my hope is that I find something in my career, several somethings. I think we've done that already, but I hope that I can continue to find things that just help people to be healthy and happy. That's the bottom line for me. That's why I do what I do. And I wake up every morning and I have that mantra, that goal in my mind every single day.
Love that. Love that. Thank you, Dr. Dan. And my question for Tyson, totally off the cuff here, is everyone talks about how great he is with numbers. We've heard Samson mention it, Kim's mentioned it, Ollie Corbin mentioned it. We've heard a number of people that know him say Tyson's fantastic with numbers. I think we have a tendency to pigeonhole people and say they're fantastic with one thing, so they might not be great at another. Let me tell you, Gary Wharton is a French-trained, classically trained chef from Cordon Bleu who doesn't make a living as a chef. He's made a small fortune in real estate, and now he's on a different career path. You can learn new things, you can get passionate about new things, you can grow in different areas. I say that because Tyson's not just a numbers person. He's great at listening. He's great at empathizing with a distributor, whether it's a brand new brand ambassador or a leader. He's great at putting himself in their shoes. He's good as what I think about him is he's really good on the back end. The back end is the finance, the back end is the operational, the back end is all this stuff, so you guys get your products. But he's also awesome on the front end. And the front end is being in front of the room. The front end is meeting with people at a coffee shop with 3 or 4 of our leaders if he goes to a city in the near future. He's great at both sides. I say that because I want to ask him a question. I don't look at you as just a numbers guy. I don't look at you as you've got a lot of capacity. By the way, number one word of business, you want to get super, super successful in the next few years, figure out how to improve your capacity. It's not just multitasking, it's capacity. How do you get good in multiple areas and take the areas you're good at already and make yourself excellent and great, and the areas you suck at, will get good at. I want to ask Tyson, why this industry? You're a smart guy, you've got a great education, 18 years of doing this, the good, the bad, the ugly. You've had to go through a lot, learn a lot. What drives you and why you have a sincere passion for direct selling. Of all the industries you could do and be in, why direct selling?
Great question. As you were sitting there talking about it, I had some thoughts. I knew that was the question that was going to come for some reasons. I had some thoughts. I've been in this industry my whole professional career. Just like many of you have talked about, sometimes people say, "Oh, that's what you do." Oh, right? That happens on the corporate side too a little bit. Oh, you work for one of those companies, and it absolutely drives me crazy. When I was growing up, I have absolutely incredible parents who worked tirelessly to give me and my brother and sister everything that we needed. We didn't have a lot. I can remember my first job when I was 14 years old, working at a pizzeria, washing dishes and making pizzas. And I did that because I knew it would help my parents a lot to help buy school clothes for me. I can remember riding my bicycle down to the gas station down the street because my dad worked there at night to make extra money and watching the shop just for a second so he could walk around the back and use the restroom. I saw how hard my parents worked. And when I got into this industry, I had zero idea what I was getting into. I had no idea. And I quickly learned that this is the best way for average people to make better than average income in the world. And I look at this room, I don't see any average people. I see exceptional people. And And that's what drives me so much is that this is an amazing opportunity. And even if it's just a little bit, how much it can help families, how much it can make a difference. That's why I've stuck with it.
I love it. Thank you, Dr. Dan, and thank you, Tyson. Give both of them a big hand. We're going to switch back to Dr. Dan. Raise your hand if you want to ask him something. Guys, this is personal. You can ask whatever you want to ask. I'm going to Dr. Darren in the back. I want you to ask Dr. Dan whatever's on your heart to ask. Throw something at him.
Ooh, Dr. Darren, this can be tough.
I promise this time I'll take it easy on you.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Thank you for your answer, what drives you. I'm going to flip that coin and look at the other side. What's your guilty pleasure? What are you embarrassed to admit that you love?
That's a great question. I love dark chocolate. I buy like 6 bars of dark chocolate at a time. Jane's like, what are you doing? You don't need that.
His first guilty pleasure? Gotta be something else, Dr. Dan. There's gotta be something. Anything else? Nothing? You notice how dark chocolate's actually good for your health too? He's like, I got dark chocolate.
Well, for dark chocolate, I love peanut M&Ms. I would just slam those like
I never knew that. Peanut M&Ms.
You know, when I was 220 pounds and happy, it was because I always had peanut M&Ms. I'd go through a whole bag in like 40 minutes.
By the way, most people don't know this. Dr. Dan, how many pounds did you lose when you were on your journey?
Lost 65.
65 pounds. I think you look at her and you go, man, skinny baby's in great shape. She's seen befores and afters. She takes it serious. I take my hat off to you. Next question for Dr. Dan. Who wants to ask Dr. Dan a question? Anything you want to ask? Where are we? I'm coming over to you. I'm coming. There you go.
Excuse my voice, I'm a little tired, guys. I want to know what was the last thing you heard in pharmaceuticals that you completely disagreed with and said you're going to take the leap and do something completely different?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the question was, what was the last thing that you heard or did in pharmaceuticals that made you decide to take a leap and come over into nutraceuticals and nutritional supplements? That's a fantastic question. So I was working with a big pharma company, and I was making molecules for them. That's what I did. Whenever they had kind of some really interesting, difficult molecules that they wanted to make, they would talk with me and my advisor. So the last step for me was I was asked to make an HIV integrase inhibitor. Isn't that cool? HIV integrase, so it's basically a way to help with HIV. The way the HIV virus infects the body is it integrates its DNA into human cells in a really freaking cool way. And I was asked to make a molecule for that. And as I was doing a lot of research, it gave me this huge dossier. And as I was doing a lot of research, I found that molecules that can help with that are in plants. And they gave me another project right at the same time to develop another drug, an efflux pump inhibitor. Pretty cool stuff. But anyways, as I was looking and going through it and whatnot, plants, molecules from plants, molecules from plants, molecules from plants. And I just thought, what am I doing? I have nothing against pharmaceuticals, right? People come up to me like, those pharmaceutical companies, right? I don't have anything against pharmaceutical companies. But, it is kind of a weird approach. We did watch those pharmaceutical companies about a drug, right? And they show a couple walking hand in hand on the beach, right? So happy, and it's like, blah, 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 you might die your friends. Right? There's just a better way, right? Molecules from plants have evolved with humans for millions of years, so it's a beautiful approach. When we synthetically try to design something, we're basically taking something out of nature, and we're making something unique that's never existed in the universe before. And part of me is like, that's freaking cool, right? But the other part is, it's never existed before, so the body's like, what in the world is this stuff, right? So for me, that was really the turning point, and I've never looked back the last 15 years. I absolutely love what I'm doing, and I'm convinced more and more that this is the way to take care of human health. This is the paradigm. This is what we do, and it's only going to get better. As great as our products are, as great as what we're doing, we have some amazing stuff, so I encourage you to join us for a lifetime, because we're going to take you on a freaking cool scientific journey to continue to give you the best products that will just blow your mind, and more importantly, allow you to build a huge business and change people's lives.
All right, I've got one final question for you. I have to know. What's your legacy? What do you want your legacy to be? One of the reasons I love Kim so much, while we went down this collaborative path, is Kim had a true heart for creating a legacy to the next generation. What do you want Dr. Dan's legacy to be? You have the exploration side of you. We release these amazing videos. You travel all over the world. People know that you're about exploration and curation and these unbelievable science-based products. Besides being a great husband and a great father and those things, what are the one thing that you'd like to pass? What do you want your long-term legacy to be?
Twofold. Number one, I want my legacy to be that I never cut corners. I mean, I never want people to say, oh, he cheapened the product, or he used this questionable ingredient, or he fudged the numbers, or he did something like this. My integrity is everything to me, really. And so, that we did it the right way, and then part two, that we help as many people as we can, right? I'm serious when I said, and Daniel and I have talked about this, I'm serious. We want to take this to 8.1 billion people on the planet. That's my legacy. That's great.
Love that. Okay, who has a question for Tyson? Switching gears. By the way, give Dr. Dan a big hand. Amazing. Who wants to ask Tyson a question? Dr. Darren again. Dr. Darren already got one.
No, I just
Our business is very serious. If your little boy you just talked about, that little boy that went to see his dad, what little boy gift could you use to teach a lesson in this business?
Oh, great question. The thought that comes to my mind is 100% just be yourself. And be okay to have fun, to be like the little child that all of us are inside, right? We've seen that over this last weekend of just people being themselves. That's what I believe builds this business and makes those connections. Not being phony, not being fake, not trying to be something that you're not. You don't have to be the most well-spoken, articulate, powerful speaker on stage to do this business. You do not. You just need to be yourself, have fun, and I believe that's how you'll connect with people.
Who else? Who else has a question for Tyson? Any other hands? No one. Oh, here we go.
This is a simple question to you, Tyson. Why 3?
Great question. Why 3? So I think I mentioned this a little bit. I've known Daniel and some members of the corporate team for quite a while. And truth be told, I had a great job before this. Big company, had been around for 30 plus years as a president of half the company. And Daniel mentioned, Daniel said something I didn't know yesterday. It kind of surprised me. He said, hey, when Tyson was looking to come over to 3, he called some people and said, hey, tell me about Daniel and his intensity. I didn't know that got him. Well, what maybe Daniel doesn't know is I love the answer that I got. The answers that I got were, yes, Daniel is intense. Yes, Daniel's a driver. And I've been at places where people are content in mediocrity, and that's not where I want to be. That's why
Tyson. Anyone else have a question? Over here. right when you said that, I was thinking, there's an old saying that says, be a yardstick of excellence. And most people aren't comfortable with that because they're comfortable with mediocrity. I hold myself to the same bar. My wife cried. My wife's so sweet. She said yesterday, thank you for your kind words. She said, my wife said yesterday, you know what I love best about your crazy maniac self this morning? She said, I know you're the exact same at home as here. She said, because you hold yourself to the same standard as everybody else. And when I'm calling out our leaders, by the way, I'm not calling them out. I'm calling them up. There's a huge difference. Calling them out is saying, hey, what are you going to do? Hey, I know you got more in you. That's only one piece of it. The next part is calling them up. Tyson's been called up to do big things. Our leadership in this room has been called up to do massive things. So thank you for the kind words, but I'm calling the whole room up because we're going to triple this company in 2025. Who has a question for Tyson? Dr. Bob.
Hi, I haven't met you yet, other than just being introduced right now. And from what Dan says, you've been in the business or been in the industry 18 years. At some point, were you ever on our side of the fence as a distributor versus corporate? And if you, yes?
No.
Oh, no. Okay, then I was going to ask you to give us a little information or give us an opinion about what it's like to be on corporate versus on the distributor side. But since you've never had that experience, let me ask you this. Are we as unique as I think we are versus other distributors in many of the other companies you've been in?
I'll answer all those questions. That's a question. Yes, this is unique and I love it. Very unique. I've not been, let's the other side. And I think about that a lot because I think our role as a corporate team is to do everything we can to make your lives as smooth, as easy as possible. As much as I want to and hope I get to know each and every one of you, I also recognize the way that you're going to best build your business is not by spending your time in corporate. It's by spending your time out with your people and leading. In the back of my mind, I'm always trying to think when we're doing things like Power of Three and the different things that we do on the corporate side, I always try to recognize that I don't know it all. I don't know I've not exactly been in your shoes. So the best thing I think we can do is take the time to make sure we're listening, understanding, taking feedback, and adjusting where we need to. And that's something that I've already seen in just a couple months that I've been here, and that won't stop.
Along those lines, let me ask Christine Peterson, who's number one in the world with Mary Kay, give us some feedback about us versus Mary Kay distributors.
Be careful about that. Well, I love our industry. It is a $200 billion industry. And what's exciting to me, it will be over $400 billion by 2023. But there are, under this umbrella, we have many different companies and different leaders. And I really chose this company because it was new, the great leadership. Is Kim the most amazing, iconic leader in the world? I am so honored to be working with her. And there's something unique and different. When I joined Mary Kay, it was already 19 years old. And it was a great company. But companies change and evolve. But, and you have to be with the new trends. And I think science and wellness is the future. And I love that men can be in here too. This is it, and we're all, and everybody's a different walk of life here, where my other company was just women. They were great. It was a great company. I would never disparage it. But this is different. This is helping every single person in the world, in every country. From that little housewife that has no money, that just wants to make $200, for the one that has big dreams. Where else can you do this on this platform? agree with Tyson. It isn't. Talk about compensation. On my other company, I had to build, 27 level ones. And I got 9% on each one of those monthly. But then when they build people out of their units to become another leader, because you see the greatest leader of all is the one that builds the most leaders. You must remember, this is what we're doing, building leaders for a foundation to build a $10 billion company. This is not about you, it's about building your people. But when I build people, I drop from 9 to 4%. And then I had to get the level ones up because those people were pulled out of their units, them leaders. They broke away. And then when I built directors underneath that level, I dropped to 2%. And then I didn't get paid on anyone below, which I had thousands. Here, wow, there's no breakaways. No breakaways. You know, I mean, you're building to infinity. A tree of customers and business builders to infinity. And all the leaders stay in the tree, there's no breakaways. And then you help them become so successful, you get matching checks on top of that. Hallelujah! I'm thinking, I should have been making $10 million a year if I'd had this comp plan on my last company.
What a great answer, Tyson.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Christine. The breakaway. The harder you work, the more your people break away from you. That's not good. That's so well said, Christine. Incredible job. Hey, does anybody have another question? One last question for Tyson. Wow, there's no hands go up. There's like 5. One person. Here you go. Final question for Tyson.
Okay, we've heard a lot of people, the leaders, share about their things that they've overcome. I'd love to hear your greatest adversity, challenge, or fear that you had to overcome and how you're working that.
Great question. Oh man. I think the biggest thing for me is, has anybody ever heard of imposter syndrome? Where you feel like maybe you're not quite good enough, you're not quite good enough in your role. I feel the weight of this role very much. And the entire corporate team, I see it in the office every day. Like, we feel the pressure and weight of not letting you down. But there's a very fine line between letting that weight paralyze you into indecision and fear, and turning that into energy to go make things happen. And so for me, I think sometimes in the back of my mind that's there. Am I good enough for this? Am I ready for this? Can I do this? And I don't know that we all ever 100% fully get past that. But I don't want to be afraid to move forward and make decisions. And so sometimes just ignoring it, putting it in the back of your head, and just moving forward. And as I've obviously joined a new company, being here, I've had a lot of time to reflect in the last couple months. And over I've had the thought that there's not even time to think about that. There's time to go. So I don't know that I've fully overcome it, but I'm not going to let it get in my way.
What a great answer. All right. I'm putting both of you amazing gentlemen on the spot for the final question of the day. And it's going to be an awkward one, but I'm going to do it. Dr. Dan, 3 areas that you're weak in that you want to grow in. I'm a huge believer when I talk about personal development. I don't know anybody that's perfect. I've never met he or she. You know, I just don't know anybody that's perfect. But it's here on planet Earth with us. But Dr. Dan's incredible. My respect level is a 12 out of 10. But the 3 areas that you want to grow in 2025, personal, sign, could be anything. What are the 3 areas that you want to look at yourself and say, I want to get better in these 3 areas? What are the 3 categories that you personally want to grow in this year?
I love that. First, I'm an introvert. I just like being alone sometimes, and I want to do better at reaching out. You know, I come into the corporate office sometimes, and I just kind of slide into my office. I need to be like, hey, what's up? How you doing? I need to be a little bit, I really do. I need to be more outgoing, and I'm working on that. Number two, I want to be more well-read. I read thousands of papers of science, you know, all the time, but I want to read more books. I usually read, my goal, I usually read about, this is embarrassing, 5 or 6 nonfiction books a year. My goal is to read 15 this year, so I really want to be more well-read, breadth, and then I want to be happier. I think I'm too hard on myself. And I'm a driven person, and sometimes I beat up on myself needlessly. Do you guys relate? I think the hardest person, right, where we give other people grace, but then to ourselves we're like, right, so I want to give myself grace. I don't want to lose that drive and that edge that I think I have, but at the same time I want to be able to just, it's okay once in a while. Take a sip.
Love that. I want you to know you've got a whole community that believes in what you're doing. I'm proud of you. I think you'll grow in all 3 of those areas this year, Dr. Dan. I couldn't be more proud of you. Give Dr. Dan a big hand. I'm going to ask Tyson the same question. 3 areas. It could be something that you are completely weak in, or it could be something you're pretty good in, but you want to get great at. 3 areas you want to grow in 2025.
Yeah, the first one that comes to my mind is I want to be a better husband and father. Sometimes, and you all experience the same thing, this can be demanding sometimes. Right? To get the benefit, we have to put in the work, and I want to make sure I'm getting home at night, I'm turning my phone to airplane mode, and I'm staying in the cabin for an hour. So I can just ask my kids, how was your day at school? I can connect with my wife. I'm sometimes afraid to do that because, well, if I get a text from Daniel, or what if what if something, I miss something, and I want to be better about making that as a priority. That'd be number 1. Number 2, taking care of myself. I think sometimes we push ourselves to where we are not taking care of ourselves, our bodies, our nutrition, our sleep. I'm not in the best shape of my life at all. And I want to make sure I'm carving out the time to take care of myself, and I would encourage all of you to do the same. Don't let this grind you to where physically, mentally, emotionally you take the time for yourself. I say that, but then I don't do it. And that's number 2. And then number 3, I'm kind of a people pleaser. I don't always love that. I want to make people happy. I want to say yes. And sometimes the answer should be, hey, I love that idea, but here's why we're not going to do that. And I want to make sure I'm not wasting time, by doing that instead, being decisive.
Those are all fantastic. I want you to have amazing marriage. Tyson's always accessible and always available, but it's important that he has an amazing marriage and is an amazing father to his kids. I know his dedication to you guys, because in just a couple short months, he treats us like a giant family. But I want you to take care of yourself, get in tip-top shape. I want the entire corporate team to take care of themselves. And I want you guys to give Tyson a big hand for being so open. I want to recognize, I'm going to share a couple slides with you here in a minute, but before I do, I want to recognize our corporate team. I want to recognize our resident proctologist, Dr. Eric Garfield. He goes, sir, do you speak English? Gilbert looks up, he's like, it's me, Gilbert.
You can't tell with the hat.
I want to recognize Marco for tirelessly, day in and day out, serving this incredible community. Please give Marco a big hand. And please give a big hand to Sean Kenny, who's with VIP support, who flew all the way in from Florida, and Morgan VIP support who came in from Utah, and Sophie and Becca, and the corporate team that came in to support this amazing event. I want to give a big hand. I think we're outside. Sophie and Becca, where are you at? Stand up, Sophie and Becca. I don't know where Sean and Morgan are at, but I want to say something about Sophie and Becca. They are very honest. They're wonderful people. They're hardworking. They serve day in, day out. But they claimed the last 2 nights they were in bed by 9 p.m. in Las Vegas. I don't know if I believe it. You guys believe they were in bed by 9 p.m. in Las Vegas? Anyways, they're awesome. They do an amazing job. Thank you, Sophie and Becca. And there's Morgan. Give Morgan a big hand. Morgan's with our VIP support team. Morgan has a number of years of experience prior to 3 right here in the industry, but she's done such an amazing job, and such an amazing thing to have somebody that speaks Chinese and that is local in Utah to help our U.S. We've got a number of VIP support agents that help here in the United States. You do an amazing job. Thank you, Morgan. We're Sean Kenny, there he is. Hey, Sean. So yesterday, by the way, I'm just going to say something. I had someone come up this morning about Tyson over here on the wall, and he said, we just want you to know that I know a leader, one of the top leaders in the entire company in the previous platform. They said you are awesome. They told Tyson this morning, we know a leader from your previous community said you're amazing. Freed is lucky to have you. You're awesome. And I jokingly said to this wonderful person, Tanya Valentine. By the way, new 4-star, Tanya Valentine. New 4-star. I jokingly said to Tanya, that's so nice. Did Tyson owe you $50 to say this? I was joking, but I love hearing compliments from our amazing team. And yesterday, I was out with Barkle at the table out front here, and Barkle came up and said, Daniel, you got to hear this. Somebody just grabbed me and said, I've never had customer service like I had from Sean Kenny. Never. And I want to recognize Sean for that, because he goes for 2 years to the beginning of 3, he's gone above and beyond. So thank you, Morgan, Sean, Sophie, and Becca for all you guys do. Thank you, guys. I'm going to share just a couple of things, and I promise not to be as intense. But I want to share, I'm not a big slide guy, and I don't use slides because they slow you down. And a lot of people have seen this. If you haven't, great. If you have this the first time, fantastic. But I'm going to share a couple just quick graphics with you guys as we close out. I think this is one of my favorite slides because to me this is success. Success is not a straight line. And the reason why I can get up and talk about Kim and Samson and Holly and Corbin and Chloe and Hebbing and Leah and all of our amazing leadership and what Mark Yule's seen for years, what Holly DeMont's seen, what Christine Peterson has seen and experienced and lived, and all of our amazing leadership is success is not a straight line. And right here you'll see success, the iceberg illusion. This is what people see. They see Michael Jordan at the top. They see Tony Robbins at the top, Michael Phelps. They see these amazing people. They don't see the persistence and the failure and the sacrifice and the disappointment and the discipline and the hard work and the dedication. They don't see when the music goes off and the lights are no longer on, they don't see what people are doing behind the scenes. It's one thing to get up here with a microphone and the music's playing and, oh, welcome 4-star, Bob Jones, and everybody starts cheering. But when Bob Jones is at home for 30 days prior to the event, they didn't see the dinners he missed out on. They didn't see the meals and the connection and the sacrifices, the family meals he missed out on, or the kids' games, or any of the sacrifices. I don't want us to take for granted what success is, but I also want you to digest this because you're going to go through all these things if you want any level of success. And I'm a big believer the single worst thing for success, massive success, is a little bit of success. It's one of the worst things. People get a little bit of success in this industry and they go, I'm finally making $250 a week. I don't need to listen to my upline anymore. I got it all figured out. Or I'm a 4-star now. Why would I listen to my 6? I don't even like the way they dress. I'm not going to listen to their advice, their counsel, their wisdom. The worst thing for success is a tiny bit of it. Let's humble ourselves. Man, I love sitting in a room with people that are smarter than me. I get invited in some of these rooms, and I leave these rooms and go, I'm broke. I got a lot to learn. Because there's so many different levels. If Warren Buffett walked in the room right now in his mid-90s and took a seat up front and says, I want to chat with you guys about investing, you think he'd listen? Of course you would. There's different levels to this game. The guy with 50 million looks at the guy with 5 million and says, I feel so bad for him. The guy with 5 billion looks at the person with 50 million and says, how do they afford to put fuel in their plane? There's so many different levels, but I want you to digest this. Success is not a straight line, and it's also not a destination. That was part of my journey last year, is you never arrive somewhere. You're constantly growing and evolving and changing and pivoting and moving and challenging yourself. Next thing I'm going to share is leadership. Pouring yourself into someone else's life for their benefit. Man, this to me is the definition of leadership. I think leadership is, oh, that guy's tall and he's got a commanding presence and his name's James Dixon and he's got a great voice. I think people judge, again, they judge what a leader looks like. They don't know that the leader is the mom at home taking care of her kids. They don't know that it's the teacher at school that might only make $50,000 or $60,000 a year that's changed their community. Leadership is so much more, but to me, than what we judge. To me, this is everything. Pouring yourself into someone else's life for their benefit. I can't think of a better industry than this industry. It's literally what we do. When you start pouring yourself into other people, your team will explode. Next thing, Socrates. Who's heard of Socrates, by the way? Unbelievable wisdom. But the secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. There's a reason I called up, not out, called up Gary Wharton. He's meant for big things. By the way, you're going to be one of the top leaders in the company. I already know. I can feel it. I don't know it, I just feel it. I can see it, I can feel it. Okay? There's a reason, because Gary's focused on building Gary into the new. Hepping is 72 years old, and him and Leah are not talking about what they've done the last 10 years. They're talking about what they're going to do the next 10. We're going somewhere massive. We're going to triple this company. But to do that, I need everybody in this room to focus on the new. I don't want you to focus on the past trauma. I was in 2 companies and making money. Who cares? It's like somebody signs up and says, what if I lost all my money? Change your thinking. What if you change your entire family's life? One decision will change generations. I'm the only person, the only one in my family, without getting too. My dad had a 9th grade education. I was raised in Colorado. My mom was from Pennsylvania. My dad was from Louisiana. I do not come from an educated family. I'm a halfway smart guy, but you wouldn't know it on paper because I'm not formally educated. But I didn't let that hinder me. I'm always focusing on the new. Where are we headed? I want 2025. I almost don't want people to even share their past stories when they get up. Yes, it made you who you are. Yes, we want to hear your story. Yes, we want to hear your journey. But I want to hear where you're headed. In June, when people cross the stage and they have 10 minutes to speak, instead of them spending 8 minutes on their past and 2 minutes on their future, I want them to spend 30 seconds on their past and 9.5 minutes on their future. I want to know where you're headed. I want to know what wisdom you bring. If you're a really good basketball player, if you think you're pretty decent, stand up. I'm being serious. I think you're a basketball player. Stand up for me. I think we're all gifted. Albert Einstein said every one of us has genius inside of us, but if we judged a fish's ability to climb a tree, the fish would think it was an idiot. Fish aren't meant to climb trees, Albert Einstein. They're meant to be in the ocean. So stay standing for me if you don't mind. Stay standing. You're good at basketball. If you're a creative person in here, like really creative, I know some of you are super creative. You should be the first one that stands up, Dr. Barkle. If you're creative, you've got a gift for graphic design or talent or making videos, like Yui, Kim's son, he's a graphic designer. Goes to the finest school in USC Film School in LA. If he was here, we'd have him stand up. If you're a creative person, stand up. I'd have to sit down, by the way. Stand up. If you're an outgoing person that's got great people skills, you've been outgoing since you were in 5th grade, you're the person to stand up. If you're an outgoing person. stand up. Seriously. If you are somebody that's had no financial success in network marketing previous to 3, stand up. Previous to 3, no financial success in the industry. If you are somebody that's gone through a tragedy, a real tragedy, I'm talking you lost a parent too young, or someone in your life. If you went through tragedy, stand up for me. If you're somebody that's just incredible with numbers and finance, but you're like, I don't even know why I'm at this 3 thing. I'm a finance person. Why am I here? Stand up. If you're somebody that says, I can't love myself, so how can I love somebody else? I want you to be honest with yourself. If that's you, stand up. Stand up. If you're someone who says, and everybody better stand up. I learned a ton the last 36 hours. I want you to stand up. I want you to stand up. I love Dr. Bob's question about how are we all different. When he asked that, I was thinking, man, how are we all the same? I don't have a creative bone in my body. I know when Barkle does something that I love, I know right away because I know what I like the look of, but I don't have a creative. If you ask me to draw a stick figure, I don't know what I can draw a stick figure. I'm not a creative person. We all have collective skills. Your skills are totally different than mine. You're so gifted in areas I'm not. You're so gifted in areas that our corporate team is not. But I asked everybody to stand up because I don't want anybody to judge anybody anymore. If you're in 3, you're in a love 3 zone. If you're in 3, I believe in you. If you're in the United States, I believe in you. If you're in Canada, I believe in you. I love when Kim talks about this is just our body, our covering up. If you're in Asia, I believe in you. There's way too much talk of, do they like the USA? I'm an American through and through. My wife is a Canadian. By the way, Canada's just the party on top, the hat on top of the party, I've heard people say. I love Canada. I love Hong Kong. I love Taiwan. I've been to Taiwan a few years. I love Taiwan. I love Asia. I love Southeast Asia. I love Australia. I love New Zealand. I love Europe. We're not in Europe yet, but who wants to have a massive business in Europe? We have a massive business in Europe. I start right here. We have a massive business in Asia. I start right here. But we're going to light the United States on fire. And collectively, we're an amazing group of people. We're going to take the judgment out of 3. We're going to take the prejudging. If I just had that person as the head of this organization, I'd be massive. No. If you grab the single mom who's dead broke and pour it into them like leadership for somebody else's benefit, you'd be massive. It's not about sponsoring the right person, it's about becoming the right person. And when you become the right person, you have a complete shift. By the way, society's shifting. Everybody can sit down. Society's shifting. I'm telling you, we've got to shift like never before. Best project we work on is you. By the way, I created this graphic just for me, not for you guys. Best project you'll ever work on is you. I'll say it again. I want to inspire people. I want someone to look up at me and say, because of you, I didn't give up. I'm going to steal one more story from Jim Rohn, where he talks about Lydia that joined the company. It's a true story. It had no money. And she said, Jim, back when he was a networker, before he became a personal development coach, Jim Rohn said, I met Lydia, and Lydia said, I have no money. And Jim Rohn said, I've been looking for you for a long time. He said he handed her a catalog, and then Lydia went out and got her first 5 distributors. She couldn't even place her order, but she used their money to place her order and said, when the order comes in, I'll owe you the product. I've been looking for you for a long time. We're all looking for somebody to build our business. You own your business. But Jim inspired her, and she's gone on to inspire a lot of people. She passed away a few years ago. But I want to inspire people. I want Barkle to grab me at the office at 8 o'clock at night by the arm and said, because of you, I didn't give up. I want Tyson 3 years from now to say, man, I can't believe I've been in the industry 18 years, which will be 21 at that point, but the last 3, holy moly, did I grow. I want Kim to sit in front of me 3 years from now at a dinner in some beautiful locale, and Kim say, I've been in the industry 34 years, because at that time it would be 34. And holy moly, has the last 3 years been totally different than my first 31. I had a lot of success, but this is a different type of success. I want somebody in this room to come up to me and say I was about to quit before February 1st, 2025 in Las Vegas. I was done. February 20th, February 21st, if you had called me, I was donezo. Until 10 days later, I showed up in Las Vegas. I didn't quit because of you, you big, bald, goofy dude, Daniel. I didn't quit because of Kim's leadership and Samson, Holly, and Corbin, and our amazing team. I want to inspire people. That's my number one fuel, if you ask me. I want to inspire people that come up someday and say, I didn't quit because of you. I was inspired because of you. I was inspired because of the corporate team. I was inspired because of your field leadership that treated me totally different than I've ever been treated before. I want us all to make this our goal. Something we chase is to inspire people. The next thing's raw. The dream is free. Hustle is sold separately. I can't teach you how to hustle. Kid knocked on my door 10, 11 days ago, and I spent an hour and 20 minutes with him. He lost his father, and I just getting to know him. He didn't have a dad in his life. It hit a nerve with me. But he had been out for 11 hours, and I can't teach you how to hustle. We can teach you all the skill sets. Kim's knowledge is worthless if we don't put it in action. Any little wisdom I share with you is worthless if we don't put it in action. The dream is free. There's so much talk in this industry about the dreams. Get your dream board out, take your 22 items and post them on there. And then you post them there and you hang them for 5 years and you're driving the same car 5 years later. Am I a huge believer in dreams? 100%. They've worked for me. My dreams are massive. I showed Kim a few months ago this brochure for the Four Seasons. Four Seasons hotel chain has a private jet tour. You jump on this jet for 33, 34 days. They take you to 6 countries in 4 weeks. They got a doctor on board, a private jet on board, Hermes blankets. For those of you who know what Hermes is, it's his handmade. Anybody know Hermes? Just ask them. You get on there, you go travel the world. They hit 4, 5, 6 different countries. You go to Rwanda and see the gorillas in Rwanda. And then you go to Athens, to the Parthenon. I've been to the Parthenon a few years ago. Barker was there with us, huh? Remember the lady at the Parthenon? I said, how long is this going to be done to be completed? It's one of the oldest art. It's a true story. This lady's giving us a tour. And there's 2 guys up there with saws working on the Parthenon in Athens. And I said, when's this going to be done? She said, 70 to 80 more years. I said, y'all need to hire some more people. There's only 2 people up there working. But I want you to see the world. I want you to dream. But I can't teach you to hustle. I can't teach you to have the heart. I can't teach you to get up. When I get a phone call this morning, I get so worked up. I got a phone call this morning saying, Daniel, you're probably busy. I didn't think you'd answer, but you answered. And I just want to thank you for this platform. I just want a minute or 2 to thank you for this platform. I said, don't thank me, thank we, because it's not just me. It was Kim Wee, H-U-I-W-E. I said, don't thank just me, thank us. But I said, before we go real quick, we're 60 seconds into a call. You know how you thank me? And he said, how? And I said, you go out and share it with others. Because if you hold on to something that you love, if you hoard something that you love, but you're not willing to share the gift, how selfish is that? So if you really truly mean what you're telling me on this call, which I believe you to be sincere, go share this gift called free. There's only a couple more of these. This is raw. Support your friends' businesses and progressions like you support the celebrities you don't know. And we live in such a celebrity-obsessed world. I'm buying this because I saw this post from blah, 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 blah. I could go pay all the influencers. There's some amazing influencers out there. But you can go create a list, and I can pay this influencer and that influencer. And some of that's awesome if it's genuine and sincere. But how many of your friends, like Alicia Clevenger's sister, who I've never met, won't even join her group, but probably buys products that celebrity posted online, but won't support her own sister's business? There's not a kid in the world that's knocked on my door to buy World's Finest chocolate that I haven't bought a chocolate bar from the last 20 years. There's not a lemonade stand in the neighborhood that I don't support. I walked up to a kid this summer, 3 kids there. I said, how much is the lemonade? They said, $1 a cup, sir. I said, here's 100 for you. Here's 100 for you. Here's 100 for you. I called their mom over. Here's 100 for you. I said, give me 400 cups and give them to everybody that comes in here the rest of the day. Right? I do it all the time. No, don't clap for me. It's what I'm supposed to do. Thank you, though. There's nobody I don't buy chocolate from. There's no lemonade stand I don't support. There's no kid that knocked on the door the other day. I said, we don't need solar. Thank you, but here's 3 names of people that might as you walk out the door. I said, if you want to use my name as a referral with the neighbors, you can tell them that I didn't buy your product, because if you said I didn't, that'd be dishonest, but you can tell them that I recommend who you are as a person, and they should at least listen to your presentation. Let's support each other and what we do, not some random celebrity that could care less about you and you've never even met. Next thing is, you are amazing. Remember that. You get these rooms and they're intense. Kim has so many, I keep bringing up Kim, she has so many different sides. I've seen her with her very casual dress and her sneakers on, and she just shows up and she's bubbly and she's bouncing off the walls in a leadership meeting, and then I've seen her get intense. I have so many different sides. Remember, none of us always or nevers. No one I know is always one way or never another way. We're beings that are growing, evolving, and learning and challenging ourselves. Why do I bring that up? Because I want you to remember you're amazing. You're going to get in these rooms and you're going to see Kim be intense. You're going to see Tyson, who has the competitive side of it, get intense with you and drive you. I won't be there. Tyson will be in some city when he goes on a North American tour. I might not be there at all. And Tyson can sit down with you and say, if you want your business to go to the next level, but you're telling me you've talked to 5 people in 6 months, you're delusional, it ain't going to work. He might tell you that. And I'd support him 110% because it's the truth. You're going to be in situations where we're intense. You're going to be in situations with a lot of love. You're going to be in situations. This is a leadership meeting. This isn't a show up so you can. This is a leadership meeting. But when you leave this room in a few minutes, I want you to remember you're amazing. My number one thing of why I love this industry is because we help people grow. And I am humbled to have such an amazing corporate team that stuck by me through my intensity. I always joke, I'm like a wigwam and a teepee on 2 tents. If you got that, you got it. If you didn't, you didn't. I'm an intense person. I've already said that 10 times, but I believe in you. My intensity is to push you, to challenge you, so you get out of your comfort zone, because you won't grow unless you do. But when you walk out of this room, I want you to know I love you. Our corporate team loves you. Our field leadership, led by Kim and Samson, we love you. You guys are amazing. That's not cheesy, by the way. That's sincere. I love you guys. Get to know me. I'd love to get to know you on a personal level. I'd like to know who your spouse is, your kids, what you dream about, your hardships, your frustrations, where you want to go, how I can help you grow. I love you guys. You're amazing. The last thing, I just want to share a couple more quick points that I jotted down here. I felt something coming into this event that I've never felt before in my 8 years in this industry. And it's a shift. Not to echo off what Kim said, but Kim talks about a shift in humanity. I can feel the same thing, but I felt it really heavy the last couple months. I'm not trying to sound like a weirdo. But I've just felt this shift. I think people are waking up. Other people would tell you they're not. Other people would tell you people are dumber than ever. People are dumb. People are stupid. I don't agree. I think people are waking up. I think people are questioning decades of advice they've been given that sucks. And I think I saw a meme about 6-8 weeks ago that I loved, and it was a picture of this kid, looked about 14, 15 with his grandma. And he says, Grandma, before the internet, how did you get good information? And below it, she said, we didn't. We just believed a lot of lies, and we handed them down from generation to generation to generation. Woo! I believe that. I believe people are waking up and saying, I hate the word truth because everybody's truth is different, but people are waking up to saying, how do I live a healthy life? How do I have great relationships? Wow, I think those people in Asia might not be quite as different as we've been told for decades. I think those people in Europe, where my ancestors came from, are more like us over here in America than we thought. The world's not becoming a smaller place, it's becoming a bigger place. It's become smaller through technology and people being connected more than ever. That's made it smaller, but consciousness is bigger. I believe people are opening up, but I believe there's a shift taking place, and I want us to be part of that shift. I want us to be part of a movement of change. We're going to get attacked someday. When we're a massive company in a couple of years, we'll get attacked. I expect that's what happens when you're changing. I don't live to worry that people don't talk about myself or the company, talk bad. I worry about when they stop. That's a change. Oh, we know Kim. She was with that J company. I know all about Kim. I met her 12 years ago. You don't know crap. I know Mark Huel. Met Mark Huel. I know that guy. I know Hemming. No, you don't. You don't know his heart. You don't know her heart. Why do I bring that up? There's a shift happening. I want some shift warriors. I want some people that are not just leaders and not just 4 stars and 5 stars. I want this identity. I want to help people shift in here. When I sit down with Mark, and I said this a year ago, when I sit down with Mark, I'm intense with Mark. I believe in Mark. When I sit down with Kim, there's an intensity. With Samson, there's an intensity. Samson's not. I haven't been as intense with the last 2 years because I'm a little scared of Samson. I don't want to be weird when I say I believe in like other wives or something, but Samson's like some old Chinese warrior with a sword or something. So I don't know what it is the last 2 years, right? Man, this guy, he's got some old stuff in him. He's like an old soul. I just like kind of want to sit at his feet and say, please educate me. Yeah. But I'm being serious. There's a shift happening, and I'm almost done here. But I want a bunch of shift warriors. I want you to leave here, and who cares if they're only 600 pounds? The person on the other end needs to know that you're calling them because you love them. And they'll only do that in trust and respect. I'm going to share a couple real quick things. Number one, people will only let you lead them if they trust you. I can speak the truth into somebody because they know I love them and care about them. Tanya Valentin, been with us for a number of years, and so loyal, knows that when I speak the truth, it's because I care about her. Mark knows I care about her. Chloe knows I care about her. Barkle, as a human being, knows I care about her. People will let you lead them and guide them if they know you care about them and they trust you. Make those the 2 things you work on to believe. Care about people and get them to trust you. The next thing I put down here is, I'm so sick of hearing I did my best. It makes me want to vomit. Stay broke. Broke mentality. I did my best. Remember that old song from like the 90s? I did my best. Remember that? And I won't sing it. And my best wasn't good enough. You guys remember that song? That's how I feel like with 90% of the people that join this industry. I did my best. And I want to say, and your best wasn't good enough. Guys, stop it. Stop fooling yourselves. I don't want to live in a world of delusion. I sat my wife down and said, we got a pretty darn good marriage. 7, 8 months ago. How do we make it easy? I've never been married before. Marriage is the #1 cause of divorce. I said, I want to make sure I got something stellar, not just good. My wife told me the other day, standing in the bathroom, man, you make me feel loved every day. I told my wife the other day, I said, you're not beautiful. You're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. I meant it. She texted me this morning, I'm just so proud. Then she texted me after that, we went back and forth this morning before she went to church. She says, I'm so proud of Kim. I'm so proud of Holly Corbin. I'm so proud of Samson. I'm so proud of Lance and Tracy. She named, I should grab my phone. She like went down and named like 40 leaders on Texas. She hadn't even been that involved in the last 2 years. And she remembers all the names of people. Beautiful moment. So I'd say that, I want you to stop fooling yourself with delusion. I did my best. Your best wasn't good enough. My mentor that beat me up so bad in my 20s, I used to be so proud of myself. Man, I did this, and this is what I'm doing. He'd say, I'm not impressed. So if you came here to impress me, and I used to be so offended, what a beautiful lesson that was. He said, it's not a destination. He said, you need to grow, you need to challenge. You need somebody that's going to be in your face and speak truth to you. He was the first person, by the way, that spoke truth to me in my life. He spoke truth that I needed to hear. And I can imagine if he was still alive today, he was me singing, I did my best, and him stopping me about halfway through and saying, your best sucked. You're better than that. Here's my message to you, you're better than that. It's not that I want you to just break out of the delusion, I want to say you're better than that. I know our corporate team, I observe a lot. Sometimes I'll just sit back in a meeting. I'll be in touch for 5 or 10 minutes, and I'll just sit back for 15 or 20, and I'll let them chat. I'm like, are they trying to convince me of something? Or are they trying to convince themselves? Are you trying to convince someone else, or are you trying to convince yourself? How do you get somebody in 3 if you're not even bought into what we're doing yourself? How do you get somebody to follow you if you don't even trust you? Ooh, ouch. How do you get somebody to follow you if you haven't built a bridge that they know you love them before you pitch your next opportunity? I hate that word, pitch. I want you guys to stop fooling yourself. I want you guys to know that your best wasn't good enough. You've got more in you. And I know that because if we were if people were absolutely killing it, we'd have 106 stars across the stage this weekend. We'd have 304 and 5 stars. I'm telling you, your best wasn't good enough, but I can tell you this, nobody's seen a room this talented. I love you guys, I believe in you. 2 more things and I'm done. Our birthday's May 30th. I know a lot of people say, you started shipping products February 20th of 2023. Correct, but our birthday's May 30th. We went into a pre-launch for 4.5 months. And our second birthday, it's like having a kid. I never had my own biological kiddo. I always tell people, I married into 4 kids. You add some flour, add some milk, add some water, and turn the stove up, you got instant family. Well, I never had my own kid, but it'd be like having a kid. Watch you go from 1 to 2. What's my point? We're very young. I love the people sitting on the sidelines. When 3 proves to me that I should join and build, I'll be there. We have nothing to prove to you. I'm very proud of what we've done in such a short period of time. When I look at the last 19, 20 months, thank you, I couldn't be more proud of you guys. I couldn't be more proud of the camp, the entire leadership team. I'm proud of where we're at. It'll be our 2nd birthday. By the way, I'm going to share an interesting stat with you that I was reading just recently. No company with a massive explosion, their first year, 18 months, 2 years, has lasted past the decade. Now you're saying, what do you mean? That doesn't make sense. No. There's only been a couple, and most of them got bought out by private equity and my bank. I want this growth trajectory, which is exactly what we're on. And boom! I could not be more proud of where we're at. Here in the good old USA. And all over the world. I'm proud of where we're at. We'll be 2 years old on May 30th. We might have a giant birthday cake that we serve to a few thousand people in June. I couldn't be more proud of what we've done and where we're headed in 20 short months. Thank you. My last thing that I jotted down here, because I always want to be raw. I shared with you guys yesterday. Fake it till you make it just doesn't work with me. I can't do it. I can't do it. I think we all have to compartmentalize where you're at different times, right? I had a tough day or afternoon. I'm walking the door to my wife late at night. I probably need to give her a hug. She doesn't need to hear about my tough day. That's wisdom. Or I'm getting on the phone with a prospect. You want to know why you can't enroll a lot of people? Because you're getting on the phone and gossiping with them about nothing that matters. And so the next time the caller ID comes, when they look at your phone, they go, yeah, I don't want to pick up Janie's call because she spent 20 minutes last time talking to me about nothing. You ready for this? I always call people with an intention. It's my last thing I want to share with you guys. I believe in you. I love you. But I want us to be intentional in 2025. You know how crazy it would be for me leading this company and say, I want us to go grow, but there's no plan. We're having an off-site management day in a couple of weeks. All we're talking about is 2025 and the growth and how my team better serves the field. It's going to be a 6-8 hour day, hard hitting with the executives of the company. And Tyson and I sit down for 6 to 8 hours talking about our strategy and our plan and what we're going to do specifically to grow. I want you to treat your business the same. Don't gossip. Cut all that out. And stop worrying if people are going to talk bad about you. They're going to. I saw somebody put that up earlier. They're going to. I promise you. And guess what? The more success you have, the more they're going to come. But guess what else is so beautiful? How many people you can help.
For me, I think this microphone might have died, Barkle. Hello?
I think the most beautiful thing is how many people you can help. And that's my message to you. I'm going to go help a lot of people. Tyson's going to help a lot of people. We are going to help a lot of people. Ken Sampson, our leadership team. Lance, Tracy, Heavy, Chloe, Mark Ewell, Patrick Tang, Harris, Holly DeMont, Christy Peters. I can go down the list. We're going to go help a ton of people the next few years. That's my overriding message from my heart. Not from here, but from my heart. It's how many people we're going to go help. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to lead by example, to go help as many people as we possibly can. But I'm going to ask you to be on board with me. It's my final point. I want you to be all in. If you're a toe dipper, when I said earlier, you got a ton of experience, but you haven't got anything in 2 years, go find somewhere else. Do you know why I said that? It was a sincere statement. No lie. I want you to succeed. I'm doing this. This is bigger. My conscience is bigger than just I want you to succeed. I want you to be where you're happy. And if there's something holding you back, I want to break that. I'm a massive believer in breakthroughs. I'm a massive believer in going to a different level. I'm a massive believer in not being held back by the chains and the bounds of your past. I changed my life. You can change your life. I guarantee you, we hand the microphone to 100 people in this room, they're going to tell you how they changed their life. My last message to you is I love you. You're amazing. I believe in you, but I want you to fall in love with what we're doing. This is my form of art. I never really told kids this. I walked through a kid's house. She's beautiful. But I love art. I've been obsessed with art since I was a little kid. I can't understand it. I used to go to the art museum in Denver with no money. I'd have $5 and I'd take $3 to go to the art museum and then I'd go buy a hot dog. I used to spend 6, 8, 10 hours at art museum. I can tell you more about art than you've ever wanted to know. I've been that way since I was a little kid. Love art and I love shoes. I didn't get my first pair of brand new shoes until I was 16. $84 at Bo Jackson, Southwest Plaza. You want to know what's so cool? I took my wife 2 years ago. Her birthday is February 14th, Valentine's Day. I took her to the Waldorf Astoria in Cabo the year before we launched this amazing platform. And we're getting in the car, and the driver there has got a sign, Mr. Piku, Waldorf Astoria. I said, baby, it's your birthday. True story. We look over, who's on my right? Getting into a white Escalade in Cabo. Bo Jackson. I said, I told you my first pair of shoes was Bo. There he is. I said, Bo Diddley, Bo knows. You don't know me, but I live in Salt Lake. My wife and I are here celebrating her birthday. But you were one of my heroes growing up. Bo Jackson, one of many heroes. I never met him until casually in Cabo 3 years ago. Going on vacation. The story would be okay if it was a little bit better. I checked in the Waldorf Astoria, the beautiful room, and guess who was in the pool that afternoon? Bo Jackson. He said, are you following me? It's a 45-minute drive. What a nice guy. You know, they say don't meet your heroes, you'll be disappointed. Not with Bo. Meet your heroes. You'll look up to him even more. I saw how he treated people over the next 3 or 4 days when I ran into him. And we were at dinner that night at a cliffside restaurant. Guess who was there again? I said, do me a favor. See that real nice gentleman over there with the lady? He said, yes, sir. That's Mr. Jackson. I said, that's Mr. Jackson. Do me a favor. Give me his check. And I said, do me another favor. Get the oldest bottle of Dom Perignon your seller has and send it over. She said, oh, are you sure? You want me to see the menu? I said, I don't need to see the menu. She said, we got some old stuff. I said, make sure it's really old. You have to dust it off. And I sent her a bottle of champagne and said, thanks for being one of my heroes. She gave me the check. It was enough to choke it off. I didn't know you could spend $6,300 on a bottle of champagne. But I told my wife, I said, he's one of the guys I looked up to when I was young. What's sixth grade? You want to know what else is cool about that? He doesn't even know what it costs to this day. Who cares? He just thinks it's some expensive hobby. Guess what I did? 2 days later, we were there for 5 days. 2 days later, I walked up to someone, a Hispanic employee at the Waldorf Astoria. I said, Bo's been with you guys for a couple days. How's that been? I will never forget, never ever forget what I found out. Bo, who hasn't been that famous in 25 years, he tips people like he has no heirs. So leave the money to. And I was talking to one of the employees. I said, how's that been? And you know what they said? Bo has this wad of cash in his left pocket, and you open a door, you get a 50. You say, hi, Mr. Jackson, you know, it's like he came here just to give us Mexicans money. I'm dead serious. My respect level went up tenfold. He tips like he has no errors. Some people wouldn't tip you if you pulled him out of a burning building. He tipped like he had no errors. There's depth to that. I was tipping like I was a rich man when I was broke. I learned that from Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn said, walk in and tip like you're a rich man and see how it feels. I was at the country buffet with my grandmother. Last thing I'll share, Littleton, Colorado. Took my grandma before she passed. Country buffet, her restaurant. She liked the taco house for the all-you-can-eat enchiladas, and she liked the country buffet. True story. I was in the country buffet, and there was a mom behind me with a few kids. I walked up to the lady. $100 was everything to me. I remember getting gas by a lady because I put quarters, $2.25 worth of quarters in my car, gas in my car. Lady laughed at me. Shell gas station on Hampton and Broadway in Inglewood. Those are memories I remember seared into me. My first pair of shoes paid me $4. At Southwest Plaza at 16 years old, I'd saved up and mowed lawns and sold chocolate. I did everything possible. The reason I support World's Finest Chocolate is I sold as a kid. True story. I was at the country buffet and my grandma was there. My grandma was born with polio. My grandma was one of my heroes, by the way, my mom's mom. My grandma was born with polio. We were at the country buffet having lunch. And I said to the cashier, I was so proud. I pulled out a $100 bill. I said, get this lady behind me and her 2 kids something to eat. Here's all you can eat buffet. And my grandma said, Daddy, you ain't got no money. Why are you buying stuff for strangers? And I said, I'll be paid back 100-fold. And it might not be for a long time. I was 19. Broke as a joke. I've been paid back not 100-fold, 10,000-fold through love. I have a woman by my side that put her arm around me and said, we're in this together. I'll never forget when my wife said to me, you don't have to worry about your trust issues. This is the last time I'm almost done, I promise you. My wife said, you ain't got to worry about your trust issues because you can trust me. And she put her hat on sideways like a gangster and looked at me and said, I'm your ride or die. For 4.5 years, she's been my ride or die. Honey, I gotta leave to go out of town and meet with Kim in Scottsdale. She says, tell Kim I said hi. She's never said, why are you going on another trip? She said, I know what you guys are building. Tell Kim I said hi. She put her arm around me and said, I'm your ride or die. I want to know with this platform, who's your ride or die? Christine Peterson's loved because she has a bunch of ride or dies. Right? Holly Mont's loved because she's got a bunch of ride or dies. And some people might be on the ride for a year or 2 and they might not be with her. That's a fact of life. But I want you to find your ride or dies. Ride or die. It's an old 57 song, by the way, $50. You talked about your ride or die. I'm in this. Get rich or die trying, he said. My message to you is this: I love you guys. Get your people that are with you and believe in you and trust you. I've been through a lot. I pinch myself. This will be the final thing I'll share with you. I've said that 4 times, my message to my wife about Kim. You know what my wife said? She said she walked up to Kim yesterday and said, I'm glad Daniel has you. And Kim said back, I'm glad Daniel has you. So here's my final message to you. Very emotional speaking from our sake. I have so much weight. I want to take this thing to millions, but I can only do so much as one person. You guys can only do so much as one people. You gotta trust me. I gotta have a collective vision that we all collaborate on. But my message to you is, it's one of them. If you could only put yourself in my shoes and know how bad I want it for you. If you could only put yourself in my shoes and know how bad I want you to succeed. But I told this to my wife 2 days ago. I said, I can't give it to anybody. Worst thing you can do is leave a kid a fortune. He'll be broke or on drugs. You have to go through the experiences. You have to go through the people not showing up at the meeting. You have to go through the people that told you they'd be at Starbucks and you drive 30 minutes and they ghost you. You have to go to the people that says you must be crazy to leave a 6-figure corporate job and get one of those things. Do we need to check you in? I can't give you the experiences that I've had, but what I can give you is cheer you and love you like you've never been loved. I want you to go through those things, because when you get up here in a couple of years and you're a 6 and 7 star, the experiences are so valuable. And I want to take you all over the world. It's on my heart, just in the last 30 days, like never before, to get a group of like-minded individuals that I can take all over the globe. And I'm not talking about some run-down hotel that you check in. I'm talking about doing stuff where you go, give me the nicest bottle of champagne, but don't ever bring out the menu. I'm talking about taking you to meals where somebody like Gary, that's as trained as Gary Wharton is, taking you to a meal when you show up at the Japanese fish market where ahi tuna is $200,000 for one fish, and they just cut you off. You know what I'm talking about? They cut you off just a couple slivers. I've been so fortunate to go to every continent. I want you to experience these meals, these people, these relationships, this love. I want you to experience how much bigger it is than even you know. We're all here for a very short period of time in a small dash. But I want to say this. It's so much bigger than you know. And as I sit in my home office downstairs, and I sometimes shut the door and I just journal to myself late at night, because I like to get deep. I journal to myself and I think, if people only knew what was out there, they'd run through walls to experience it. But then it came to me on Wednesday night. Most people don't love themselves enough to think they deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve the finest car, the finest home, the finest spouse, the finest relationships, the finest love, the finest people that believe in you, the finest food that money can buy, the finest suit. Sometimes I spend more on a suit, twice as much on a suit jacket as my first car cost. That's a true story. People go, "Are you an idiot?" And I say, "No, I just want to buy crap I can't pronounce because it's Italian." I say that humbly. I want you to experience those things. I want you to experience love. I want you to experience loss, because the loss makes the love so much sweeter. I want you to experience failure, because it makes the success so much sweeter. But I want to leave this room collectively. I wish I could group hug everybody in here. 378 souls. I wish we could get together, hold hands, kumbaya. They already think we're crazy. They really think we were crazy. I want to kumbaya and tell you I love you. I believe in the spirit of the United States of America. It's taken a street kid from Colorado who spent 2.5 years in group homes. It's taken a street kid in Denver, Colorado to make myself. I spent my first 46 years on this planet embarrassed and apologizing for the stuff I went through. I spent the last 8 or 9 months saying, had I not gone through those stuff, I wouldn't be up here. It wasn't a trial and a tribulation, it was a lesson. Wow. I want to thank my dad for leaving for 29 years. I want to thank the state of Colorado for raising me for 2.5 years. I want to thank my wife for believing in me. I want to thank the people here for believing in us and believing in me. You're destined and you're meant for so much more, and June is going to be a breakout. But don't wait till June. We're here February 2nd.
February, March, April, May are going to be a breakout. I want you to leave this room. I want you to go hard charging. I don't want you to hang out here for the next 2 hours because I want you to pick up your phones and call somebody you love and tell them what we're doing. I want you to make it home safe. I want you to travel safe. I want you to hug your loved ones. I want you to tell your spouse or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your kids or maybe somebody you haven't spoken to in a while. Maybe you pick up the phone and say, I wronged you. It's time for me to right my wrong. I love you, and I want you to hear that from me. And my message is this: I love you. I love you, and I love you. God bless everybody and safe travels home.